Hey YouTube, I am back. I got a new computer that I can make videos now, and I'm trying. I'm not a very good public speaker, and so I'm working at that too. I just want to do some update and talking about what's going on. I don't know how many people know about the Mandela effect, but it's pretty well out there. So there was a verse in the Bible talking about the millennium period, and I believe it was like Isaiah 14 or something. Don't quote me on that. But people, even in my Bible, it's changed where it says it's the wolf in the lamb, and I have searched everywhere trying to find the lion and the lamb. Well, I want to show you this. I got this as a gift like about 20 years ago, and as you can see, there is a lion and a lamb. It doesn't say the verse where it comes from, but I'm just saying this might be the only documented proof out there. The Mandela effect is changing things in our reality, which I want to bring up portals that will be opening. There is documented proof that this has happened before, and I'll have to put a link down in the description area about this, but I'm just going to sum it up. It happened in late 1800s, early 1900s. A farmer was out in the field, and the judge was coming over to visit, and he was always bringing gifts and things for his children to play with, and they were friends. And I think there was someone else with the judge. Well, the judge had seen the farmer out in the field, and his wife was also saw him, and he was walking towards the judge because he was out in a field, and he was walking towards the judge, and both of them were watching him walk up. Well, he just actually just disappeared without a trace. I mean, they watched him just disappear. And like I had been telling you, these portals will be opening up more frequently, and I don't know if it's because of CERN. And CERN is just craziness anyway. I mean, they're going into realms that just it's a subject in itself. But I really think that we're gonna see this happening more. So I kind of want to just warn people now before this really starts happening, because I saw it really prevalent after the Civil War, the famine, and everything. The next thing is this weird dimensional shift, which will go with the days of darkness that I named as the sin of the world vision or similitude that I was shown. So Yeah, I mean, you could just be walking and just walk into it. And if you don't get out in time, then you're going to be trapped in there. And that story that I was telling you about, it is so interesting. I'm definitely going to get a link for that, and then you can listen to it. It was on YouTube, and I'm sure it's somewhere on the internet as well. So, and what do these portals look like? Well, they're circular, they're round. Your body would definitely fit into it, and it's kind of a white, whirly look. So, just be careful. Oh, I got a new kitty. My Mimi kitty got out of the house, poor thing, and she's never come back. And I've done everything trying to get her, trying to find her. Nobody's found her. Now this kitty is only 4 months old. She's going to be huge. And she's such a sweetie. I mean, she's a lot like Mimi, the cat that I lost. She's very docile, but just, she's a sweetheart. I just love her so much. So I just wanted to introduce you to my little kitty. I call her Yuki. When I was in college, I studied Japanese, so I really like the language and the culture. It's pretty interesting. But see, also, there are people that are asking for my testimony, and it's a very long thing, so I think what I'll have to do is break it up into different parts. But just to start out with, my life has never been normal. I've always had a lot of loss in my life, and I've always had, I'm just going to call it for what it is, psychic abilities. I know things before they happen, and when I was 2 years old, this is before my twin sister and I were adopted away, my grandfather was a drunk. Well, I guess he was my great-grandfather. But he was a drunk, and he lived next door to us. Anyway, he used to come over a lot. Well, this one particular time he came over, he had a gun, and my mom told me and my siblings to stay inside while she went out and talked to him. So she went out there, and me and my twin were looking out the picture window and that looked over the lawn. Could see him staggering all over and waving the gun around, and I just knew something was going to happen at that point that was going to change me and my twin's life forever. Not only in a spiritual sense, but a real sense in what would be happening to us. So anyway, we were told, don't go outside. Well, I saw my grandfather move over towards the garage, and then my mom stood at the end of the garage and kept a pretty good distance, but she was still talking to him and trying to calm him down. Well, I don't know. I disobeyed, and I ran out the door and got to my mom, and my mom just had this horrifying look. and she was screaming at my great-grandfather saying, "You need to just leave." And he kept saying, "Well, you know, nobody loves me," this blubbering all still. It was just crazy. Anyway, I'll try to speed this up. Anyway, she said, "Well, you know, I would love you if you would not come over all the time drunk and scaring the kids and disrupting our our lives, basically." And he said, "Well, then I'm just gonna shoot myself." And he put the gun up to his head and boom. Remember, it was like right there. And I watched him fall back. And at 2 years old, it's the reality of death and everything like that. I didn't know. But I knew something bad had happened. My mom and my twin sister had run out the same time like shortly after I had ran out. So me, my twin, my mom walked up to my great-grandfather, who was on the floor and flapping all around. He was still alive. And so I don't know, this is a really hard part because it was just at that point, my mom was very, very mad and upset. She took the gun, and she said, "Follow me, we need to go inside." Well, me disobeying again. My mom went inside. She was calling police, ambulance, and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, we stayed there, and I knelt down beside him, and he's like, he woke up, and he didn't seem drunk or anything, and he said, "Get away from me, like, you know, your mom had told you to. Why are you even out here?" He just wanted to die. And I stayed. I said, "No, I'm not going to." Well, at that point, I mean, it's kind of long, but what had happened is he eventually died. I don't know how long it took, but we did talk. And he understood at that point that I did love him. And he said, "If only I knew that you had loved me, why didn't you ever tell me?" "Oh, I'm 2 years old." And, you know, I don't know. Anyway, when he did die, I was right beside him. And I heard this soft music and like this light, this golden light. And I was looking around, and we were in the garage. He was laying on the concrete, and I was wondering what I was supposed to do now, I was trying to wake him back up. And then I heard the music, and I was like, "What is that?" And then I looked up, and the ceiling opened up into a similitude vision. But I saw him standing right next to a very huge angel, and he was at the bottom steps of these stairs going up, and on each step was an angel, and it was like billowy clouds all around. And I just was in awe. And meanwhile, these golden glittery things kept coming down, and my great-grandfather could see me, and he was like, "You know, if I only knew, give me a second chance." And the angel's like, "No, you had a lot of chances. It is time to go see him." And I didn't know who him was at that point, but I did know that he wasn't coming back to his body because he was standing there. Anyway, he fought with the angel, and eventually the angel just said, "Come on, let's go. It's time." And my great-grandfather looked down at me and he said, "I love you." And I said, "I love you too." And then the clouds just kind of all came together, and the ceiling just moved together until it was closed. But right before it was closing, that sparkly gold stuff was coming down, and so I thought, maybe I can catch some. So I put out my little hand, and when it touched, it like melted like snow, and it's little gold flakes, and I was going to put it in my pocket. Anyway, found out that I couldn't do that, and then my mother called me in, and I was in trouble. So, and I tried to tell her, but she's like, ugh. And I had this weird sunburn all over my body. I was wearing a little dress, and she's like, "Were you out in the sun playing?" And I'm like, "No, I was with Grandpa." And she's like, "No, you weren't." And you know, this is what I find with these types of experiences. Either people will believe you or you won't. But the most hardest part is when people that you love, like mother, father, sisters, brothers, don't believe you. So I carried that with me, and it had a profound impact on my life, because shortly after, and I was still 2 years old, the whole kids, there were 5 of us, and I had an older sister, an older brother, and a younger brother, and then it was me and my sister, my twin. So we were put into foster care, and we were supposed to be adopted by these people. They were Mormons, and they could not, it was already like prearranged with my mother, so she thought everything's good. Anyway, it didn't happen that way. My other siblings went with them after about 3 years in foster care, and then my sister and I were like on a trial basis at a home. He was a doctor, but he was a pedophile, you know, and I know, but most every doctor that I have met or had to deal with, there's always something wrong with them. And I'm not trying to be judgmental or anything, but any sexual connotics, they're, I don't know, maybe they have like this God-like persona where they think that everybody loves them and that they can do whatever they want to people. Anyway, that's another story. But so in my next video, I'll be going on. I know I've taken up a lot of time already on this one, so I hope it will upload. But the next one will be about how I died, and my personal testimony of what I saw. And I think that's it. And Yuki wants to say goodbye. Isn't she the cutest? She just has such a feline face to her. Those little whiskers. 4 months old. She's going to be a big mama. I love her. Okay. I'll be back. Oh, gosh.